Okay, we went from the easiest card to the one that has the most work and will be the most time consuming. So let's dig in. First, you're gonna find, I grabbed that paper, but you also need this birchwood paper. Let's see, it has this pattern on one side and this on the other side. Let's cut that first. You're gonna need 2 panels that are 1 3/4 by 1 1/2 and 2 that are 1 3/4 by 3 1/4. That's for each card. So let's just start cutting some. Let me think about this. 3 1/4, 4 1/4, 5 3/4. I think, I don't know. We're gonna just, let me try this. I was trying to figure out for my little piece I want to put on the inside. Let's start with a 1 3/4 inch piece, and then we're gonna cut 3 1/4 and 1 1/2. Oh yeah, see, I should have done that first. I could have cut that bottom piece off. Okay, that's okay, sorry. I'm just making sure I wrote those measurements down right. I did. Okay, so now before we cut the second one, go ahead and cut a 1/2 inch off the bottom. We are going to use that on the inside. Okay. Then we'll do that again. We'll cut 1 3/4 and we'll cut 3 1/4 for the bottom piece and 1 1/2 for the top piece. Okay, and that's for one card. You have a little bit left you could use on your next card, and then you have a whole nother sheet to get your other panel. Okay, so that's our designer paper. Now let's talk about the different pieces in here. Your string, your twine is tucked between pieces. Okay, so these are for the inside of your card. Oh, okay. You may have a few loose pine cones. Let's get everything out. And that's because when I counted, I wanted you to be able to have 5 on each card if you want to cut that many out. And I realized on your 2 sheets of paper, you weren't going to have 10. And so you might get lucky and have one totally cut out, but you should have a couple extra in there to make it so that between your 2 sheets, you have 10. You have 5 for each card, okay? This little paper is for your thanks, and I'm gonna, really, there's no trick on that one. We'll come back to that. This paper is for your wreath, and how you're gonna do that, oops, wrong stamp set. Where did my actual set we're using going? Okay, so I'm gonna mount this wreath piece. It's really, I think, called a swag, and we're turning it into a wreath. That does fit there. Barely. I think I usually use this giant one, but I happen to have a non-Stampin' Up block that fit on. And then the sending thanks. Okay. Now this piece you can die cut. Unfortunately, everything else on this card is fussy cut. So, gosh, I hope I can fit both of those. Maybe I should have done it the other way. I'm gonna just do this for testing purposes for you guys. Ooh, I almost went off the bottom. When you stamp, it's probably going to be better if you go this direction, and then you'll die cut each of these, and then we stick them together to make our wreath. Let's see if I can fit another one on here. Hopefully not run them into each other. I have to off-center them a little. Okay, that worked. And then your greeting. You really don't need to ink the whole thing because if you like this look, I'm just fussy cutting things out. I also wanted to show you, I know that you probably may not get this done in time for Christmas, but if you're like me and you haven't mailed Christmas cards yet, you might. I think this would be such a great Christmas card too, like with the wreath and the birds and the shiny. And this, I know a lot of you have greetings of the season, that's what I used for that. I don't think I cut it very well, but that's just showing an alternate if you want to make it a Christmas card. But I'm just using the things. I'll probably make some of mine, and it doesn't matter if it goes off because we're cutting out that middle piece. Okay, so generally with something like this, it's easier to color it first and then die cut, but what can be super frustrating is if you do all that careful coloring and then you die cut and mess up. So it's up to you. I think that I'm going to die cut first and then color. So you'll just die cut your pieces. I'm going to have you pause the video. I'm going to pause recording so I can go fussy cut all my things, which I haven't done yet. So if you want to fussy cut a bird on the inside, that's there also. So on the front, I have this bird, this bird, this bird, those three birds. Inside is this one. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 pine cones on that paper, plus the little extras I gave you. And every sheet's well, I was going to say they're different. This one is exactly the same. So hopefully you should have everything you need. So we're going to pause to give you a chance to fussy cut and die cut. And then, you know, for the coloring, I believe I told you the colors I used. Old Olive, I think Mossy, actually I think I used Old Olive on top, Mossy Meadow on the bottom because my Old Olive was dried up. And then this has a variety of colors in it though. You could use Shaded Spruce, that would also work. Granny Apple Green, it looks like in that bird. And then for the red, I believe I used Real Red, but you could test Poppy Parade, Real Red, any of those, okay? So let's pause and we'll go do a bunch of work and then come back and put it together. Okay, holy smokes, that was a lot of fussy cutting. And the coloring, if you're wondering what I was thinking when I picked this card, I am right there with you. I saw this card, and I'll put whoever I saw it from in the PDF. I saw this card, I thought it was gorgeous, and I made it, and I didn't remember that it was as much work as that just felt to cut all those pieces. So, hey, all the cards are going to be easy after this compared to all of that work of fussy cutting all of those things. Okay, so we're going to attach our panels, and you just, you know, space them. This is supposed to look like a door in case that wasn't obvious. A door with our wreath on it. So it has a bigger space around the sides and the top. Basically all around is a bigger space than the spaces in between, was the way it's meant to be. I gotta hold my card closed. So, oh, I forgot to refill my tape. Well, let's see if I can squeeze a little more out of this one. Okay. So I would, when you're lining up, kind of look at that edge of the corner. Like this has kind of gotten messed up, but look at those lines. Lining things up is always challenging. Oh, I can just see that I did not do that correctly. It's a little crooked. I'm looking at this line in here and the line up there. Maybe my bottom one is crooked. I'm not sure. Good thing we're going to cover it with a giant wreath. Okay. Now my next move is to attach these pieces with dimensionals. Now I didn't put them touching because they're a little spread out. I'm trying to see how far. Oh, I can't see. Maybe not. Let me just look. Let me just build this for a second and then I'll take it apart. I'm mostly just looking at these birds, where they're going to come in, to see how far apart to put these wreaths. Maybe I did kind of touch them. I'm okay with that. Okay. So I'll put some dimensionals. Where did my minis go? I wanted to stick. I don't know how I constantly lose these things. Oh, there they are. I know, I probably put way more on than I really needed, but it's done now. So I'm gonna just center that right there. You wanna leave some room for that little bird at the bottom. You know, even just the wreath alone, that is pretty, even without all the birds. If you wanted to spare yourself a whole bunch of fussy cutting and just stick the wreath there with a Merry Christmas or something, feel free. I was cutting all those going, wow, that was a lot. I'm gonna do less dimensionals on this one. I'm gonna have my tips touch. That's how I'm gonna do it. It's not like a perfect round wreath, but we're gonna come in with our birds. And you know, I could just put one dimensional and it lays flat, but it's harder to see. So if you want it to lift up, then you gotta have your dimensionals so they're above that part. I did not realize how complicated this is sounding. So I'm gonna put it there. Let's see if that's gonna cover it. Nope, not really at all. I'm gonna put one on his little head there. Ah, I see what I did, guys. I did a double lift here so that it would lift higher, give more dimensionals. You could just put them flat and not go through all this trouble, but so I'm going to do a double on the head and a double on the side. This is why you should never copy artisan cards that you see online. If it says artisan on it, it means those people probably are more fancy than me and I should not try to do it. But you know, I did it before and I was like, that's beautiful. So once again, I'm going to double these so that they sit a little higher than my wreath. But that is totally up to you if you want to do that or not. These are little tiny pieces too. Okay. letting you watch this process to see how I keep moving things around to fit how I want them. Okay, this bird, I'm sorry, it looks like depressed because it's looking down. I want my bird to be looking up. Don't push hard, as you can see. You may want to move things around. I think I'm going to just not put more dimensionals than that on there. Goodness gracious. Okay. My problem is that the bird is so intricate, I can't find spots to put those, even the minis. You can always cut up the edges, which is maybe what I did before. Okay, and then this bird coming in, I also did double dimensionals on that one. On the bottom part. And then its wing would just be a regular one. There we go. Woo! Okay. Then my little thanks, I double popped also. And if you don't have many dimensionals, just go around and cut the edges of your dimensionals. You might be even better off than I am with these minis that you have to put just so to get them to fit. I think I did put a warning on my card club for this that there was a lot of fussy cutting, but I probably should have put more warnings that this card's really tedious. But I don't even think I remembered how tedious it was. Do you make one along with me? Goodness, I cannot get that off. Put some Christmas music on to make this a more enjoyable experience. At least that's what it does for me. Crafting with Christmas music playing. It's my favorite. I don't know why, what I did. If I put it, I cannot get that back enough. I think I took it off and put it back on the wrong way. Oh my gosh, starting all over. Like if you put the wrong backing side on, it apparently does not want to come off for anything. Like I just about did there. Goodness. Well, you can't accuse me of making this look easy in this video, right? Okay, I'm gonna tuck that underneath the thanks that's floating in the sky. Okay, we're not done yet. We're not done yet. I'm trying to get all these little papers out. Okay, so next is our pine cones, and we have our twine. I think I'm going to do twine next. How long is this video? It's going to be a doozy on my camera that's running out of space. Okay. Now, of course, if you have red twine, you could do red if you want more of the red. This gives it more of a rustic look, and it's just one of the 3 colors that was in that set of linen thread, and so I went with it. Okay, once again, I'm going to roll up a glue dot. I might actually this time just stick it on the paper where I want it. Okay, now again, you could skip the pine cones if this is, if you're ready to not add more, but don't skip all the little bling. I feel like the bling is just, it really adds to the look of this card. It gives it a magical look. I think I popped up all my other ones. While my glue's open though, I'm gonna go ahead and do the inside of this card. Oh, that is longer than I need. And on this card, I noticed I have like a even shorter one because I probably just had a scrap I stuck on there. So however you want to do it. Okay, getting close here. That obviously I'll just attach on the inside. And these I am going to put dimensionals, minis. I'm putting them on my project instead of the other way around because I guess I think it's going to be easier to peel it off, except for this one. Okay, now we just have our bling. And yes, my wreath is looking sort of lopsided. Like I think I would like to move my little bird out a little more, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to take it apart. I'm going to let this go. Okay, so then you can just start putting this bling all over. I have a ton of it on there. And our other two cards, we're not actually using this bling. I gave you some different ones within your card kit. So you can just really go at this without recipe. I mean, you'll have plenty, obviously. If you want to save it for other things, you can. But I really loaded mine up with sparkle and I'll do this one a little different, but yeah, just fill your spaces with bling. And this card, card 2, is finally done. Have fun. I may end up adjusting that because it is kind of bugging me, but have a great night. We'll see you on the next one.